All right, AEP is coming up. Everyone's excited. Everyone knows what AEP means. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple things in this video that's going to not only help you make the most of AEP, but avoid some of the traps and use this as an opportunity to do some things that you probably weren't thinking about that are possible in AEP, but more that'll help you use AEP not as a certain time of the year that's going to make you okay, and we made a lot of sales, but it's going to propel you as a catapult into the next year, to where you can build an ongoing business from the things that you not only achieve but that you learn and that you develop in AEP. So let's get right into it real quick. So first thing you're going to do is AEP. First thing you need to know is AEP gives you a lot of reps. It gives you a lot of opportunity. This is the time of year where the demand out exceeds the supply. It's easy to get leads. There's just a whole lot of people needing help in a small window of time. So if you have any lead source, whatever it is, wherever you're getting your leads, that's going to compound. It's going to be a lot more. You're going to get a lot more reps. Now, we all know that, but why am I saying that? Because we think about how many sales we're going to make, but we're not. You need to think about, how do I maximize the reps I get? Because the reps is what makes you the machine that builds your business into a strong person that can build and grow a business. So I want you to not think about sales as much as I want you to think about skills. If you have the skills, if you develop the skills, then the sales will come. And what's the best way to develop skills? Well, first of all, you have to think about yourself as a system. If you are a system, that means you have a way that you do things. Now, there's a lot of ways you can become a Swiss Army knife, do everything, but the people who are consistent in business have a method in which they do something. They set up where they do where they meet and greet, then they do a good discovery, then the presentation, close, cool down, and all those things. But I want to talk to you about, and this video isn't to get into the nuts and bolts of how to do it, but I want you to realize one big principle is the incremental time that you spend to take, once you're in a presentation with a qualified prospect, the incremental time that it takes to do the job right, and that means to do more than you're thinking about just getting the sale. It has like a 10x compounding effect. So you can spend, let's say you're spending, a lot of people spend 30, 45 minutes in AEP. I can make that sale real quick. Well, if you spend, whatever it is, if you spend an extra 15 minutes in that presentation, first of all, your closing percentage is going to go up. If you do that extra 15 minutes every single time and do a couple things that I'm going to talk to you about, your closing percentage is going to go up, but then you're going to do some other things. You're going to get more referral business now and into the future, and your persistency on that business is going to stay a lot longer. And with that, obviously, if you make more sales, get more referrals, and all that business stays on longer, you have a compounding effect. But not only that, you get better, because you're going to make yourself, if you'll do what I talked to you about, you're going to make yourself uncomfortable, and you're going to use these reps to gain some skills that might make you uncomfortable. You're going to go ahead and step out on the ledge, and you're going to do the things that you may not have wanted to do before, and you're going to get comfortable doing that while the demand is so high, and while, honestly, people are eating out of your hands this time of year that they're not going to be doing in January. So if you can get comfortable when the times are like this and doing it, you'll have the skill set by January and forward to be able to propel this into a real business. So, all right, so let's talk about what those need to be. A couple things is your mindset. First of all, you're not making sales, you're gaining lifetime customers. So when you go in, your question is not how do I sell this person, but how do I turn this into not only a lifetime customer, but a lifetime customer that feeds me a continuous stream of referrals. Every time the term Medicare comes up or health insurance comes up, whatever your market is, whenever that comes up, these people like, you got to talk to my guy, you got to talk to my gal, and they pass your number. They become missionaries for you. Now, not everyone will become that, but if you go into each presentation saying, how do I turn this person in? A good percentage of them will, and they will feed you throughout your career. So you want to take your mindset from how do I make a sale to how do I turn this into a lifelong missionary for my business. And if you do that, then you're going to do a couple things on it. First of all, you're going to take a little more time in the discovery. The discovery is where sales are made. Most people don't know this. They think it's some technique or trick during the close. It's not. The discovery is where it's made. That's where they give you information and where trust is built. And people think that like you build trust and then they give you information. It's actually the act of giving you the information about them and their situation and all that that makes them trust you. When I give you information about me, then my mind reverse justifies it was worth giving. So you want to take time in the discovery, ask more questions. Don't say, okay, who's your Medicare Advantage with now? Well, let's look at your meds and let's get through this, because I gotta get somewhere else. You don't have anywhere else to be. When you're in front of a prospect, that's the only person in the world. Do it right for as long as it takes, and the next one will come and you'll do that again. You'll sell way more with this mindset. The discovery, you want to expand that. I want a whole picture of your whole life and health situation so that I don't, a lot of advisors try to sell you policies. I don't give advice in a vacuum, so I need to know the whole picture. So let me tell you, do you have health insurance? Do you have, do you have life insurance in place? Do you have any long-term care, short-term care? Ask all the questions. And if you sell annuities, you can go ahead and ask those things now. What kind of financial situation are you in? Do you have savings? Do you have stocks, bonds, CDs? You can go ahead and ask those things. The more you ask and the more information they give you, the more trust they have in you. And then if you just don't mess it up at the end and you lead them through the close properly, you're going to do that. So do a thorough discovery to determine all of the needs of the prospect. So you're uncovering more sales situations right in there. You know, just by asking the question, you have life insurance in force. They're going to probably, 1 out of 3 will probably tell you, no, but I need it, or I have some that would cost way too much, or you're going to uncover things in there. And so when you take more time in the presentation, in the discovery part of the presentation, you're building trust, you're uncovering more sales opportunities. Then I want you to create, once you have done a thorough discovery, then you come to the decision-making part of the sales presentation, and that decision making is done by you. It's not something that they make. You make the decision. Now that I've done a thorough discovery, I understand their situation, I understand their needs, I am going to take one plan of action, one recommendation, what plan combination of plans, whatever it is that I'm going to offer them. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to offer it. If I'm saving them money, I'm going to show it as a savings. If if they're having to come up with more money, then I have to find a way to present that and know that the money's there. But I have one plan of action, and then I come back in and I say, let me show you what's best for you here. Out of all the companies I have, everything I've looked for, the best thing for your situation is this, and let me show it to you and show you why. That's your presentation. And you're going to also have determined, do I package, sometimes say I can offer you this, and this, let's get the paperwork done. Or you can do a laddered approach, which is you wrap one up and you say, okay, now let's look at the next one. There's different reasons to do different ones. This isn't about that. But you want to make sure that you're also getting as many sales and filling as many needs as possible during this presentation. If you sell one policy to someone, the average, I think it's 4-year persistency is like 40-something%. If you sell 2, that goes up to 70. If you sell 3, it's like 80 or something like that. And it's like 94. If you sell 4 or more policies to someone, it's the 5-year persistency. I think it is 94%. I butchered that, but the point is, if you have a lot of products in a household, they stay with you. You become not someone who sold them something at one point, but you become their guy, their gal, and they're never going anywhere else. When the needs come out, that happens. Now, you're going to make those sales. The next part is you need to solidify that you are their guy, their gal, and that they don't need to go anywhere else ever. So there's a couple things that you need to be aware of. They're going to think that, okay, first of all, this is the person who sold me ABC policy, so they're with that company. And the next thing comes up, it's like they may not realize that you're an independent broker, that you have all the options, that you've looked at a lot of options and found this and recommend this. So you need to take some time in the cool down. That's after everything's done. And from the late great Frank Todd, my father, mentor, and best friend, he had a great saying. He said, listen, when I walk out, what we just did was we looked at all your options available, and I am confident that right now in this very moment that this is the absolute best thing for you. Now when I walk out that door, and we all know that things can change, and a couple months down the road they probably will change, and I don't have a crystal ball and I can't tell you what's going to happen. I mean, this company, as soon as the rate guarantee is over, they could triple your premiums for all we know. I don't think they will, but they could, and we all know that. Right? So this disarms them. You're not, this isn't your product forever. And then what you say is, and so I just want you to understand that we just are doing the best we can, looking at all options available now, and that this may not be, write this down, this may not be the last insurance policy you ever need, but I promise you I'm the last insurance agent you're ever going to need. Because if they do change, and like I said, I'm always up with what's going on. I'm always looking at everything. I'm aware of what's going on, and if something does change, I'll have the best thing for you at that time. But but you have to call me. So if anything ever becomes, you put the monkey on their back to call you, because you may or may not call them later, but you want them to know in this presentation, you put the monkey on their back. I need you to call me if something happens, because a lot of times insurance companies will frown on me going out talking to the customers, but if you call me, I have a fiduciary responsibility to act in your interest at that time. So I am the last insurance agent you ever need. So good. If you're happy with what's here, it's good. Now, finally, we want them to be able to give you a continuous stream of referrals. So right now we've done a bigger discovery. We've uncovered more sales opportunities. We've done a thorough job, so we're closing more people, we're closing more products per, and then we also need to make sure that they know that whatever happens later, that they call you first, that you're their person, and they don't ever have to worry. And believe me, if you verbally say those things, they will feel a sigh off their back, and they're in their mind go, good, I will call this person. I don't have to worry about shopping for insurance anymore. I got a guy, I got a gal. That's the way you want it to be. Now, to get referrals, I'm just going to give you want them to also know, and if you're doing a good job for people, everyone's afraid of this. If you're doing a good job for people and you let them know that that's what you expect, they're happy to comply, and those who aren't happy to give you referrals are happy to say that they will and not do it. So it doesn't hurt you to get the sale at all. So the best thing that me and my teams have ever done is this: at the beginning of the presentation, somehow when you're going into your discovery process, somewhere along there, you say, listen, and you can even do it right after discovery, you got to feel it out. But at some point before you go into a presentation, you say this. You say, listen, let me tell you what we're going to do here. I'm going to go through all this with you. We're going to find you the best solution to all the companies available and all that. Now, personally, we're a referral-based business. Most of our businesses offer referrals. And my job right here is to become the best insurance agent you ever had. I want to be the best insurance agent you ever had, and do such a good job for you that you'll be saying, I've never seen anything like it. And if I do that at the end of this, because we are a referral-based business, I'm going to ask you to think about some people you know who are on Medicare, people you know who are self-employed, whatever your business is, some people you know, and you give them a couple specific situations, and I'm going to want you to refer your friends to me. And then when people start asking, I would appreciate the referral, but only if I'm the best insurance agent you ever had. And if you don't think I'm the best insurance agent you ever had, or you think I'm bad even, then refer me to your enemies. That's a joke you can use. You can refer me to your enemies then. But that's the way we work. We're a referral-based business. There's no obligation or anything, but my job is to be the best insurance agent you ever had. So let's get into this. You look at that. So if you put that in their mind in the beginning, at the end, when you say you can come up in the cool down portion of it, when you're everything's wrapped up, and kind of say, hey, by the way, did I meet my goal? Am I the best insurance agent you ever had? And that can be you say it lighthearted and funny and all that, and they'll go, you know what? You often don't even have to go any further. You know what? Mary down the road, Joe down the road, let's talk to him or whatever. And then you can play it by there if you can gently ask. I mean, you don't really want to be pushy with referrals, but that you seeded this up front and you ask them if you were the best agent they ever had, will trigger their mind to give them to you. And even if not, you'll see a good percentage of your people giving you referrals throughout AEP and throughout the season as things come up. But that I hope that helps you today. When you go into AEP, I want you to have high expectations for yourself. I don't want you coming in there saying, let me just make a bunch of sales today. I want you to come in and I want you to go in and say, I have high expectations. This AEP is going to not only help my income for the short term, but it's going to be a catapult, propel me into a bigger, brighter future where I build a scalable business, where I change my mindset to where I'm not just making sales, but I am creating a lifetime clients who are missionaries to help me build my business. I am getting the reps to be able to be great at all of these things that I might be afraid of doing now. If you do that, you're not going to only have a great AEP, but you're going to have a great business and you're going to have a great life. God bless you. If you need more of this, watch it back and forth, and I appreciate any feedback you can give. Happy AEP, guys.